Spring Television. Ours it is.
All right, good morning once again. Thank you so much for starting your day with us on Western Spring Television, where we bring it to you as it is. We try to help you make sense of what's happening around you as a Nigerian, as a person living in the country, help you make sense of what's happening in the polity, the socio-political and socio-economic realities of our daily living. We are reaching you live from Start Times, channel 190 DTT, and of course you can follow us on all our social media platforms on Facebook and Instagram at Western Spring Television, on Twitter at WSTV_NG, but on YouTube, it is also Western Spring Television. Do well to subscribe to our channel when you find us there. My name is Emmanuel Ujadegele, and it's a really sprightly Tuesday morning. I hope that you have the spring in your steps and that you woke up on the right side of your bed. Thank you for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Temitope Ajijola. Good morning.
Yeah, Temitope is I just got back from the United States of the, what state is that? What states?
I don't
United
know.
States. Okay.
I think you do.
It was just some United States that she got back from. Well, it's Tuesday, the 10th of January, 2023. I said earlier on in the show that it seems this January is the fastest January that's ever generated in the history of all Januaries. Well, a lot of things have been happening in Nigeria, in Osun State, where we are, for example. In the last 10 days, what has been the most striking happening for you? What event has caught your attention so far?
Well, that would be the Thug invasion, according to the APC, on their campaign office in Elisha, and the tax, all those, tariffs and all that, and the insecurity issues.
Yes, the insecurity issues.
Train attack.
Yes. There were also issues in Lagos yesterday. Some clashes and all of that resulted in the loss of life. And we've always said on the show that it is important that government steps in to calm every frayed nerves. People should not go about taking laws into their hands. Yes, you can be aggrieved. I mean, I am angry. Everybody's angry. Yes. Every Nigerian is angry by default, But something has to give. We have to let go of some of our grievances and all of that, and ensure that we become way better, we become calmer.
And law-abiding citizens.
Yes, so I spoke with some persons yesterday, and we talked about the Japa wave.
Exactly.
And it's really becoming serious. I have like 5 persons who are leaving in 2 months. So I'm going to ask you again, when are you leaving?
When are you leaving, Emmanuel?
No, I'm asking a question. So you're my interview now. Welcome to the show, Miss Temitope Ajijola. When are you leaving Nigeria?
Like I said, we can't leave that to chance. We don't know. I might even leave before the 5 persons that you said.
Oh, so you might leave. I will steal your ticket and all your flight details. Well, you know what we do for you on the program? We bring you the newspaper analysis, insightful newspaper analysis. We bring you engaging interviews. Today we'll be talking to someone within the Independent National Electoral Commission. You get to see that on the interview segment. And we of course, I'll be bringing you spring trends to show you what's happening. There's an interesting occurrence in the spirit world.
I can't wait.
I like to show.
Spirit world.
Yes, I like to show our viewers. It seems that something is going on with the gods. But you get to find out later, much later in the show. So we have the papers now. We'll go on the short break. When we come back, we'll bring you the papers. All right, welcome back to the show. Morning Spring is what you're watching on Western Spring Television. We are reaching you live from Osogbo, the Osun State capital, on Start Times, channel 190 DTT. And of course, this program is live on our YouTube channel. You can check Western Spring Television. Remember to subscribe to our channel when you get there. We'll begin with the Punch newspaper this morning. The Punch newspaper has as its banner headline, Cash Limits. Customers protest as banks begin enforcement. As on page 24, Customers say policy will affect cash-based businesses, demand fresh review. Bank ATMs dispense old notes despite CBN directive. New note scarcity persists. Temitope, have you seen the new note? Have you touched it?
Yes, I have. I've only seen the 1,000 naira note.
How did it feel? Did it look different?
Extremely light.
Extremely light.
In my opinion, quite ugly too.
Ugly.
Yes, it is.
Well, that's in case you want to pick up someone or arrest someone. She said it's ugly. I didn't say that. Well, customers said the policy will affect cash-based businesses, demand fresh review. Well, we said on the show that before you can transition into a cashless policy, a lot of things have to be in place. You know,
yes.
Electricity. You have to ensure that you have enough banked people with bank accounts.
Exactly.
And then the bank ATMs are still dispensing old notes despite the CBN directive. A new note scarcity persists.
And I wonder why the scarcity of new notes. I mean, it's supposed to be very much in circulation, and the CBN is supposed to be very, very ready to have several notes in circulation. But now we're having the bank ATM still dispensing old notes. And if now, I mean, this is January 10, and I've only seen the 1,000 naira notes. Then have you seen any, Emmanuel?
Oh yes, I have. I've seen all. You know, I was in Lagos on the first.
all.
Yeah, no, I didn't touch it. I didn't even want to be at. Okay, I didn't touch it. You know, but I was to travel on Sunday and I needed cash.
Okay.
So I transferred to someone, and the person was to give me the new notes. And I knew for a fact that bus operators in Lagos there was still some apathy towards the new notes. So I just told them, please give me the familiar ones so that I don't get stranded at the park, you know. And that's another thing that the government needs to address. There's some sort of apathy towards the notes.
Yeah.
People are reluctant. I mean, even in the marketplaces, nobody wants to get the new notes and all of that. Well, that's that on the bank notes. We move downwards. You see pictures, very disheartening pictures there of how Yoruba Nation protesters converged 3 a.m. Members killed. I saw some pictures posted by the PRO of the Lagos State Police Command yesterday, Benjamin Ondeyin, and they weren't very nice pictures. There was a casualty, a young man who lost his life.
And I wonder why we still have a strong aversion to peaceful protests in Nigeria. I mean, people can protest whenever and however they like, but I mean, peacefully, you know, but still having problems with protests in Nigeria is still something that is baffling to me. I mean, is it that we cannot protest, or what issue does the Nigerian government or any other person have with, you know, protests in particular, that people have to lose their lives?
I think it's the fear of the protest being hijacked. But over time, we've seen that protests are hijacked by some actors, non-state actors, at the behest of some state actors. I mean, nobody just walks into a protest and disorganizes it. You don't. When people do protest for bring back our girls, people don't. It's the one that hits the government that is hijacked. So that shows you there's some undertone to it.
Yes.
But we pray that the souls of those departed will find rest, and that all of this is sorted out, because you cannot rule out reprisal attacks, you know, and it's Lagos where anything goes and anything happens. I was still talking about protests, but this time in Ibadan. Protesting police student block Ibadan road. Governor intervenes. Pastor raped my daughter for 3 years. That's according to a mother there. And the DSS director's wife orders Kano governor candidate arrest. I saw that story last night. And I must tell you, it's quite ludicrous.
Director's wife.
That's the wife of the Yusuf Bichi now, Aisha. I think Aisha Bichi. She had an altercation with someone at the airport. I think they were trying to board the airplane together. And from what I read, she kept shouting, "Do you know who I am? Do you know who I am?" And the person was, "I don't know you. I don't have to know you to be civil. You don't have to know me to be civil to, you know, just let us sort out these things." And before you know it, the guy was beaten. I saw pictures of it's the NNPP candidate in Kano. Saw pictures of him brutalized. He had been beaten and all of that. And power is intoxicating.
It's been intoxicating, exactly. And in a very bad way, if you ask me. Wow. Imagine that a governorship candidate was ordered to be arrested by the wife of a DSS director.
Without committing any crime.
Exactly.
You know. And the person wasn't declared wanted, just that he had an altercation. In fact, I think it was his wife that had an altercation with Aisha
Yes, of
Bichi,
course.
not him himself.
Oh.
And then it's led to some very unsavory details coming out from Kano State there. And we hope that government functionaries
intervenes.
would
Exactly.
rein themselves in. We've seen people slap people. I mean, those things are unnecessary. You can resolve your conflict without resorting to violence. The above the nameplate scarcity, federal government orders NNPC to reduce petrol price. Government acquires stakes in Dangote refinery. 3 others. It's been orders and threats. In fact, in December, the DSS threatened to do something if fuel is not, in circulation.
And this is coming a bit late, really, by the FG, just ordering NNPC to reduce petrol price. I mean, we've had for about a month or two now long queues at filling stations. We've had exorbitant prices, that the petrol is being sold at, and the government is just now talking. Well, thank God that they are talking now, and we hope that the NNPC would take to the government orders. And on the government acquiring stakes in Dangote refinery and 3 others, I don't think that's necessary. I mean, we might not even have a structure to how the money or whatever stake the government is having is going to be, is going to help the economy or boost the economy. I mean, if the government has been unable to provide refineries in the country, then we should make sure that the stakes that you're having here has structure that would better the economy, or just leave it to private owners to do whatever they would do to the refineries and have it working properly. Because whatever the government has a stake in, somehow just doesn't work. It just somehow doesn't work.
Well, it's also interesting because we do have our refineries that are moribund, and instead of working on them, you're acquiring stakes. But it's Nigeria, and that's the government for you. Before we leave the Punch newspaper, gunmen demand 620 million ransom for abducted train passengers.
I mean, we still talked about this.
Yes, I want to laugh, but I can't laugh because 620 million. Those people are probably just middle class people who are trying to get by. Where do they get 620 million naira from? How? Why? That's close to 1 billion naira. How many of them can afford it? Put all of them together and say you want to sell. I mean, if they could afford this amount, they will be flying, not taking trains, and all of that. But the last story on the Punch newspaper, Dr. C, UK police deep in probe. Controversy surrounds airport incident. You find out more of that story, more on the story on page 14, and of course on Spring Trends this morning, where we bring you some gist surrounding Dr. C's arrest in the United Kingdom.
All right, we're moving on to the Nation newspapers this morning, and we have the headline as "Why Nigerians Should Vote Tinubu Shettima by Buhari." I mean, the Buhari is our president right now, and he's also from the APC, and it's only expected that he would endorse Tinubu and Shettima.
I was thinking he would also deviate and do a shocker, move on us, and that yesterday's event in Yola.
We've not been seeing much of that.
Yes,
APC.
Not really much shockers. It would have been interesting if Buhari in Yola had said, I know that my party's candidate is Tinubu, but I'm urging you to vote for maybe Atiku or Peter Obi. I mean, the country will be upside down at the most.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, so above the nameplate this morning, we have kidnappers demand 620 million naira for 31 victims of Edo train attack. We just spoke about that in the Punch newspapers. Now we have Made in Nigeria helicopter for inauguration before May 29. This is shocking as well. Before May 29, you're just about to inaugurate helicopter. As much as I love and would endorse any Made in Nigeria product, I believe that the question is, does the government have enough funds to facilitate projects of this magnitude? And even if we do, is it sustainable? Has it been tested? Can we push it over time? Isn't that something that we'll do for a while and start having issues again? I mean, I really wish and hope that Nigeria can get to that point, but are we even there yet? And that's even before May 29.
Yes, we've seen Made in Nigeria cars make the news and people get so excited. only for those things to fizzle out in a matter of time. The concerns you've raised are very valid. Is it a viable, sustainable project in the long run? How efficient will the helicopter be? Is it one of those products that would knock themselves out?
And the problem is, we would have things like this, and Nigerians won't even buy them.
I wouldn't purchase a million Nigerian helicopter. I wouldn't do that.
Why?
Well, that's my choice. I'm not saying that Nigeria is, I'm just saying that, because I'm not really Nigerian that much. I come from the United Kingdom, and I'm just a Nigerian by birth. So.
Funny. All right. Silver seeks CBN special fund for modular refineries. And then just below it, Airtel Nigeria announces acquisition of 5G spectrum. Now, Silver seeking CBN special fund right now for modular refineries.
At the same time, the government is buying stakes in Dangote refinery. This is our Minister of State for Petroleum, and then we hear him only when things like this come up. The Minister for Petroleum himself doesn't even. I have never seen a country where a president is a minister. I may be wrong, but I've read quite about countries, and I have not seen it. Even when you have parliamentary systems where the prime minister is a member of the legislature, it doesn't happen. You will be biased. How much of an input has Buhari's position as petroleum minister, brought to that ministry? Nothing. Even Silva appears to be clueless, doesn't know what he's doing there. It's not really a petroleum expert. And that's what happens when you don't people positions with round pegs in round holes. You just put people there because, there's this thing called, I can't remember it now, but it has to
serve your purpose.
Yeah, it has to do with sharing something around the geopolitical zones. I can't remember what it's called, but that's not fair. Why you're seeking special fund for modular refineries, but you're buying stakes in other refineries? Something is very wrong.
Something is really wrong, really wrong. Really wrong. All right, just below the nameplate, we have Kwara Assembly member dies, and Kogi government and Ebira monarch crisis deepens. All right, so the Kwara member, the Assembly member that died. Well, I have nothing to say about the fact that he's a Kwara, Assembly member. That's not really important. What is important is another human has died, another Nigerian has died, and we hope that his soul rests in peace. And the crisis in the monarch system deepening in Kogi is really something that is disheartening, because it still boils down to the fact that our leadership in the country, at whatever level it is really wobbly, and things are just going on. So nothing is working in the leadership.
Well, so the backstory to that is that in December, sometime in December 29th, President Buhari went to Kogi State. And the governor had said that this monarch should go receive him. But at that same time, his palace caught fire. 3 people died, so he couldn't go. He had to stay back as a responsible monarch.
Yes.
And the next thing last week, the Commissioner for Chieftaincy Affairs, about sent him a letter and said this behavior was unbecoming of a monarch, that he ridiculed the office of the president and the governor, and should show reasons why disciplinary actions should not be taken against him. The letter was very condescending. I read it. It was part of the news on Saturday. It was very condescending. It was like you were talking to a child.
Just because he decided to take the life of his people.
It also speaks to the fact that the traditional institutions have been eroded by political structures. Yes. If a governor has to sign off on the appointment of a monarch, then you can expect him to always, want to. A very good example is Wike in Rivers.
Yes.
Wike talks to the monarchs in Rivers as if he's talking to primary school students, pupils. So that's the same thing happening in Kogi State. A monarch's palace was set on fire. People died. You expect him to go welcome someone,
Yeah.
These are issues that need to be sorted out.
Yes. Very disheartening indeed. Now, leaders condemn attack on Brazilian government offices. And just below that, we have 7,000 nurses begin strike in New York City. And now this is even baffling too, because whenever the health sector of any country, be it Nigeria or wherever, is having issues, it's something that should, it's a really red flag. It's something that the government should quickly intervene in, because the health sector is something every member of the society passes through. So they're very important. And relating that to Nigeria, they're not going on strikes right now, but people, health medical practitioners are leaving the country by the numbers, So it's something that is really serious, and I don't know why at this point it's happening almost in every country of the world, and that nurses, doctors, health practitioners basically are having, issues with the government, going on strike and all that. And that's in New York City anyway. Then we have ex-Lagos Borno governors trustworthy. Ex-Lagos Borno governors trustworthy. I think this is referring to Tinubu and Shettima, that they are trustworthy. We don't know, everybody is just busy, endorsing one person or the other right now, which is something we will keep saying till after the elections.
Yes, you get to know you get to know my endorsements very soon.
Oh, you're having someone endorsed.
Yes,
well.
I'm also a stakeholder in the Nigerian political sphere,
Okay.
Because I don't show it, because I don't show off, doesn't mean that I'm not, So just watch out for my endorsement.
All right. Okay, so just below that, we have withdrawal policy pushes up POS transaction charges. Well, this is to be expected, since the POS operators are having little funds compared to what they used to have before. So it's really going to affect everybody. But Nigerians, we always would adjust to the current situation.
We will eventually.
All right, we have polls threatened, INEC wants. That's Yakubu hints of election shift in volatile areas.
Well, it's possible, but we hope not. We hope that the government is able to salvage the situation, and that no part of the country is disenfranchised. Everybody can cast their votes, but then you cannot jeopardize lives and property because you want to hold an election. So if it's not possible, let's not have it. But if it is possible, if it can be managed, let's go ahead with it.
I was thinking that it has been no news for a while that the elections were held this year. And if just at this point, we're just talking about election cancellations or postponement or cancellation in some areas, then I don't think it's really good enough. We should have been prepared. We should have had foresight towards this.
Yes, but the issue with insecurity is that some of these things just pop up. For instance, in Osun State now, I think two offices have been burnt. You never know. You just wake up in the morning and then your office is gone. So while you may have foreseen maybe technical issues and then maybe security issues that you bring in police and all of that, you don't probably foresee arson and some of all this little pockets of violence. And those things, little as they may be, when you aggregate them, they may end up truncating the electoral process. So it's better if we cannot have elections in those places. I strongly want to align with INEC and polls may be shifted.
Okay. Charles, the bottom strip of the paper says NESG to dialogue with presidential candidates. And then Ondo, Amoteco, NAPS, 150 suspects. Well, the Amoteco and some other force, some other arms of the forces are doing a very good job. Nabbing 150 suspects is really commendable by the Amoteco.
Yeah, and they really are doing their jobs, complementing the conventional security agencies. There were some concerns about excesses and some other operational issues, but they've tried to work their ways around it, and it's heartwarming that they are doing their jobs, and we hope that they keep it up in the long run. And
that they do not deviate from their purpose. All right, that will be that on the Nation newspapers this morning.
Very quickly, because of our time, we take the Daily Trust, Education Ministry, South Supreme Court, 50 others, high corruption risk, ICPC. That's on the Daily Trust newspaper banner headline. 131 MDAs, ministry departments and agencies fail ethics, integrity, compliance, lottery fund, environment, state housing among top 5. Assessment targeted at boosting transparency in government as a commission, and report shows failure of criminal justice system as an expert. You see the graphics down there. talking about the corruption risk in some of the government ministries, departments, and agencies. I am wondering why the Supreme Court has high corruption risk. That's very worrisome when you look at it. The arbiter of justice, as the Supreme Court, the apex court, is at risk of corruption. That's very, very unfortunate. Quite scary, if you ask me.
Yes,
very
that's
scary.
supposed to be where we run to for soccer, as the common citizen goes to for soccer. And if it is being said by the ICPC that it has high corruption risk, then there is really a problem, and we don't know if the government is to be held responsible or if the Bar Association is to be held responsible for that. But
well, we hope that also 131 MDAs fail ethics, integrity, compliance, and you begin to wonder what goes on in those ministry departments and agencies. But then, like you said, we hope that these things are put together and then sorted out. Now, below that story, Yauri girls' parents resort to crowdfunding to raise 100 million naira ransom. Those are the girls, 11 schoolgirls of FGC Benin Yauri, who have spent 574 days in captivity. How to raise money now, resorting to crowdfunding, is a problem for them. And I think that will be sorted out soon.
Yes,
And we hope that the girls are reunited with their parents. Also below that story, herbalist arrested for impregnating woman in Kano. A quite funny story there. What do you think?
It's really funny. I mean, how did that happen? Does she go to him for support, for help, and all that? But it's really sad. It is sad. It is funny, but sad as well.
All right. Resident kick as FCTA moves to reintroduce park and pay. And that's in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory Authority moving to reintroduce park and pay. And below at the bottom strip, a new Nigeria possible under me, Kwakwanso inaugurates campaign council, launches fundraising portal. That's the presidential candidate of the New Nigeria's People's Party, NNPP. Below the nameplate, elections face cancellation, postponement over insecurity. That's coming from INEC. We already spoke about that. 2 killed as Yoruba Nation agitators. Police clash in Lagos. Very sad. Nigeria records 170.2 trillion worth of foreign trade in 5 years. Another encouraging story, but then these figures, when we mention figures in the Nigerian economy, they're usually huge figures, trillions, billions, but you've not seen them translate to development. Then it wonders. It brings you back to the banner headline on the Daily Trust. Some of these MDAs failing ethic tests, integrity, compliance. It means that somehow, some things are being shortchanged, and saboteurs are really working to shortchange Nigerians here. And before we leave the Daily Trust newspaper, let's quickly remind you about those still in captivity. The 11 schoolgirls of FGC Benin Yauri, whose parents have now resorted to crowdfunding to raise 100 million naira. Mind you, people are donating tens of millions of naira to political campaigns, but nobody is donating to rescue these girls. Very sad. They've now spent 574 days in captivity, and that one student of Bethel Baptist High School, Kujama, has spent 546 days in captivity, alongside others whose travails are not placed on records. We hope that these things are sorted out immediately.
We hope
That's all on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning.
All right, moving on to the Guardian newspapers, we have the banner headline as private sector frets over FG's 2.43 trillion naira non-oil revenue target. And the writer says, experts decry increase in taxes amid widening poverty, call for plugging of revenue leakages, explore property taxes, Yusuf urges government. The private sector is fretting over FG's 2.43 trillion naira non-oil revenue target.
Well, it's expected, because what non-oil revenue? We have the customs, we have the immigrations, we have the manufacturing sector, and all of those other things. But why they are fretting is how do they meet up with those targets? Can they raise 2.4 trillion naira as a revenue target? That means there will be increase in taxation just to meet up with the target. That's what they are saying. The experts already decrying increasing taxes amid widening. People are earning less and paying more in taxes, and we need to plug revenue leakages. We've always said it, cut down on the cost of governance. It's hypocritical for the government to say it's broke, but can finance, some other sectors. Having the allocation for the National Assembly almost neck to neck with that for the defense of the country. It's, if not even higher, 288 billion, like Dr. Ogunyemi said last week. It's worrisome. These are things, these monies can be redirected, rechanneled, but it's their right to be worried. I would be worried because I'm paying more tax now, more levies on my bank transactions. All of these little charges that just to meet up with the non-oil revenue target. It's very worrisome.
And here Yusuf is urging the government to explore property taxes. I think he's right. They should do that. Property taxes. There are people who are having, this edifices severally
just lying around
across. Exactly. And nobody is really taxing them, We're overlooking that aspect. So it really might be an aspect to look into instead of taxing people who don't really have this money. I mean, if you can erect something that big, around the country, and you don't even have one, you don't have two, you have 10, 20. I mean, the government should do something to, get money from that. Now, just above that, we have 6 victims of Edo train attack rescued as police nab 2 more suspects. That's another good news of the Edo attack. I mean, the train attack. We have 6 victims more released, and then 2 more suspects have been nabbed. And I hope that the suspects are actually, thoroughly investigated to know if they're actually the ones involved. Yes,
because, in Nigeria here, some persons have accused the police of just, going on a wild goose chase, arresting people and then making them confess to crimes that they never committed. So like you said, we hope that they are nabbing the actual suspects and not just people loitering around and unfortunate enough to be picked by the police.
All right, we thank God for the victims who have been released, and we hope that more will be released soon following the police intervention. Now, INEC denies releasing new final list of candidates. INEC denies releasing new final list of candidates. Are there more candidates being added to, this list?
Yes, that's because of ongoing court processes. Some of the candidates are in court. Some of the results of primaries are being challenged, and you have conflicting judgment from the courts. For instance, the Binani woman in Adamawa, at some point, a lower court had removed her as a candidate of the APC, and then she went back to court. All of these things. And when these courts make pronouncement, they also direct INEC to put up a new name, and all of INEC does that. So, but INEC has said, Festus Okoye, the Commissioner for Education, Voter Education and Information, has said that there is no finalist yet. Yes.
All right. So election riggers behind plot to remove Yakubu, IPAC alleges. Yes, there have been plots, to remove the INEC chairman. Why?
And then the commission itself had been speaking about being under pressure to compromise, and it has said that it will not compromise. But the Inter-Party Advisory Committee now saying that some persons, election riggers, there was a time that the coalition of opposition parties, COP or thereabout, raised alarm. They even named names. They mentioned names of those involved in trying to remove Professor Yakubu. But then the man is staying put. He's going nowhere. He will conduct next month's election, whether you like it or not.
Because I don't see why he should be removed anyway, in my opinion. Now, 1 killed, policemen injured, vehicles burned as police Yoruba Nation activists clash in Ojota. So 1 has been killed, policemen have been injured, properties again have been destroyed, vehicles burned as police Yoruba Nation activists clash in Ojota. I don't know.
It's worrisome, like you earlier said. that protesters clash with police. It shouldn't. We've seen it happen in other parts of the world, even in civilized sinner climes, as they say. But that's because some of those issues are controversial issues. The issues around maybe petrol, oil, and all of that, food. But this is people are just agitating peacefully on the streets. They want to. You don't have to forcefully disperse them if they are not threatening the peace of the nation. Of the society. But then the police needs to do more. There's been so much talk about the police recently from December.
Yes.
And this is January 10th.
And
there seems to be a problem.
Not looking like it's, diminishing in time. Now, below the newspapers, the bottom strip says Nigeria alert amid concerns over new COVID-19 variants. NLC berates presidential candidates for supporting petrol subsidy removal. Well, let's talk about the COVID-19 variants, and the concerns over them. I mean, we've been hearing that in China, new variants are, popping up, and it's becoming a concern. Now Nigeria is having concerns as well, because we keep having fresh cases of COVID-19 in the country, and we don't know if there are new variants or the old one, the old strain. So I think Nigerians should also be proactive. The government should do more. Nigerians as well should be proactive, observe all the safety protocols and all that. It's really very important for us to watch out for ourselves if nobody is doing that.
Watching out for us. Well, we'd like to leave the newspaper review segment on that note. COVID-19 is very much still with us. Please do well to observe all the safety protocols, social distancing, washing your hands, using the nose masks and all of that, hand sanitizers. Be sure that you are safe, because nobody, like she said, will look after you if you do not. You are the first line of defense for yourself. Ensure that you take care of yourself. We're done with the newspaper analysis segment now. When we come back from this break, we'll bring in our guests. Remember, we'll be talking about some of the issues surrounding the collection of PVCs in Osun State and Nigeria generally, and of course, INEC's preparedness for next month's election.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Eva is pounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission. Even diffusion. Vast and fast. Detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Turn it up! It's the Wild Wild West, and Western Spring Television is pulling out all the stops to make sure that you don't miss out on every of the fun and happenings around you. Yup, we've got you covered, because your girl got all the juiciest tidbits and entertainment news from around the world. Cross over to the chocolatey side of entertainment. Join me, Chocolate Cassie, on Eccentric as we take you into every bit of the juiciest news, fashion, music, movie updates, and other trending conversations. Together on the show, we'll get personal with your favorite celebrities via phone call, Zoom, or even live here in the studio. Eccentric will be shown on your TV screen on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Gbadamosi Adegoke Adelabu was a prominent figure in Ibadan politics and Western region before Nigeria's independence. He was a key founder of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, a political party that held lofty the torch of liberty for the two West African countries. He carved a niche for himself as a wordsmith and a creative speaker. The nickname Kwenkele Mens was a natively corrupted version of Peculiar Mess, his bombastic English language style often used to score proceedings at the parliament. The author of Africa in Ebullition, a handbook of freedom for Nigerian nationalists, was Nigeria's Federal Minister of Natural Resources and Social Services between 1955 and 1956. He died in an auto crash on the 25th March 1958 at the age of 42. Western Spring Television identifies Adegoke Adelabu as a watershed character in history. This iconic African presents the narrative of a man destined to exert an imperishable global influence in Western education. His was a story of a freeborn, captured and sold into slavery. He was born in Oshogun, a native Yoruba village near Iseyin in Okeogun axis of southwest Nigeria. Samuel Ajayi Crowther was the foundation student of Fora Bay College, Sierra Leone, the foremost university where the pioneer set of native Africans were educated. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's greatest contribution to humanity
All right, thank you so much for keeping faith with us on Western Spring Television this morning, Tuesday, the 10th January 2023. Welcome back to the program. It's still Morning Spring, where we'll bring you insightful newspaper analysis, the engaging interview segment, and of course, what is trending. We'll go straight to our guests in the house this morning. We have with us the Resident Electoral Commissioner of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in Osun State, Dr. Mutiu Agboke, who's on the show this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you.
It's my pleasure.
How are you today?
I'm not doing bad. I'm trying to manage.
And how is the commission doing?
Commission is pulling well because, commission is now the center of all conversations and discussions. So we are pulling it gradually towards 25th of February. All
right. So very quickly, there was some statistics released about 6.7 million uncollected PVCs, and here in Osun, it's about, for the figure is about 400,000 thereabout. Why is there still some reluctance or apathy towards collection of PVCs? No, Osun State is a different scenario ball game. Don't forget that build up to 2022 governorship election, a collection of PVC has been devolved to the polling unit. In other words, it was made closer to the people. Don't forget that the nearer of the collection process of the PVC, the better for the electorate. So in Osun State, they had that opportunity in July this year. July last year. So majority of people, are assumed to have collected their PVC. But that notwithstanding, over 400,000 PVC is a huge number. But if you look at the statistics and if you break it down, what we have discovered, what I have found out is that those who have not really collected are those who transferred, whose PVC were lost, whose PVC were defaced. Most of these, perhaps over 300,000 of the cards, are the old cards. When I say old card, the card of 2011, 2015, which the owners have either refused or cannot even collect. What do I mean? Most of them have relocated out of Osun State. Most of them have moved. And once you have moved your voting right to another state, then the former card has become redundant. So it will not be useful, even though it will still be part of the leftover that has not been collected. So, but the important thing is that we will continue to push for the collection. Between 12th of December and now,
a lot of people have come out in Osun State to collect.
Do you have figures for that?
A lot of them have come to yes, I have figures. They have come to collect. Just like yesterday, we went out. Now don't forget that we are at the world level now, and at the world level, more people see the opportunity to collect, and they're actually coming out to collect the cards.
All right, so Dr. Agboke, let's look at the voting numbers now vis-a-vis PVC collection. What are the implications of voters not taking their cards on the electoral process?
No, the effect is simple. You refuse to pick the card presupposes that you are not voting on election day. Section 42 of the Electoral Act is so clear about the procedure. I think 42 or 47 now, I'm trying to mix it up. But the Electoral Act is so clear about what should happen on election. Sub 1 of that section provides that when an intending voter approaches presiding officer on the voting day, is expected to approach the presiding officer with a permanent voter's card. That is for the purpose of accreditation. And when he does that, that is the first thing to qualify you as a voter on election day. Sub 2 of that provision, provides that when he does that, then the commission will now use the technology introduced for that process to verify the authenticity of the identity of that person. How do you do that? We use our machine, the BVAS, to, authenticate your officials. Authenticating official means that, were you the same person that was registered last year or 2 years ago? So if the technology says okay, then you are okay. But if you are not okay first time, you are not okay second time, you are not okay third time, then the second option is your fingerprint. And fingerprint does not mean your thumb. It means any of your 10 fingers. Because if this one does not work, any one of these can work. I hope you are following me. Now, when we do all that, and none of them okays you too, first time, second time, third time, my brother, if whatever is your status in this society, you will not vote on election day.
Regardless of
whether you are the Mr. President. Let me put it like that, so that the Tekanku Soki will follow you.
Okay. Well, before I hand you over to my colleague now, you will come back to BVAS and then the strategies that you're using to get people to collect their PVCs. But the collection started on the 12th of December, like you said, and it will lapse in about 12 days or thereabout 22nd. As it were now, INEC generally last week said that collection of PVCs is satisfactory on the national scale now. Would you say the same for Osun State?
Yes, I am satisfied too. I'm satisfied because when I say I'm satisfied to the extent that presumably majority of people have collected their cards. If you see the turnout, in the build-up to the governorship election, it was massive. But even for this one we are doing, yesterday I went around the various wards. We have devolved to the ward level now. People are coming. Yesterday, when they sent the figure to me, over 700 people collected yesterday. Yesterday,
polling units.
Yeah, at ward level.
Ward level, yes.
I told you the closer, the better for the people. But we are increasing the scale of advocacy and awareness. A lot of people do not even still know that this collection is still at the ward level. So we are, in fact, as I'm talking now, maybe in the next 2-3 days, we are still going back to the street. Sometime 2-3 weeks ago, we were on the street of Oshogbo, raising the awareness for the people. Maybe Ife axis or Elisha axis, we will go there, we will be on the street, we will talk to people, market women. Everybody must know what we are doing so that we can get it right.
All right, let's talk about the agitation towards the election, about elections being cancelled or postponed. What's the probability of that?
The probability of that is the likelihood of the continuation of the insecurity tension in the country. Not even about insecurity tension in the country. 2014, there was a terrible insecurity situation. An election still held in 2015. But when the dimension of insecurity is now targeted at the INEC facilities and its personnel, and there is a big danger. There's a big danger. And that is why my chairman came out yesterday in a very loud voice that if there should be any kind of attack again on either INEC facilities or its personnel in this period towards the end of this month, then the reality of election is not certain. It's not certain because as I speak to you now, most of the major procurement has been made. As I speak to you now, beavers, the entire number of beavers required for this election have been procured. So if anything should happen to our non-sensitive or sensitive materials, then it will have a very big toll on our preparation. And that is why the commission is saying, yes, we got all we needed. Yes, we have been appropriated all our need. Yes, this, yes, that. But it's not INEC that will guarantee the security. So we need to do more. And that is why the chairman is making the noise now. We have a mandate to ensure that we do not have cause, like the chairman has said it, to postpone election again, all because of logistics problem. No. We have said that will not happen. And that is why all our procurement, by Electoral Act now, the appropriation for election fund must be released a year to the election year. That was done. And that's one of the benefit and the advantage, of this Electoral Act. We have the fund early enough. We started the procurement. Most of our material that we needed has been, deployed, except for perhaps result sheet and the beavers. Even the beavers, we are okay in various states. So even for us that we are not going to do governorship election, we have the full complement of the materials. So, but if there should be any attack on any of these, no, it's not going to be a good development.
Well, in 2018 and 2019, you were not here then,
I was in Oyo State.
You were in Oyo State, yes. Yeah. There was some attack on INEC offices around Oriade.
Yes.
And just last year, there was some attacks on your office, in Ede South. Yes. Now, when you look at this incident, it's not as widespread in Osun as it is in other states. Do you have any fears of attacks on your facilities? Do you see the polity that heated up here in Osun State?
No. You see, when you look at the pace of political activities, when you look at the conduct of the main actors, certain events will always signal a very unpleasant development, which of course will need to be arrested early enough. Let me give you an example. The Honorable the CP of Oyo State, we had a conversation that there is need for us to call all the state actors, particularly the political parties, for a dialogue. In the last 1 or 2 weeks, we had on the news a situation whereby one political party or the other have been going around to attack the facility of other political parties, remove the billboard, tear the posters. That is invitation to violence, because by the time you start on that scale, it will spread to ordinary citizens in the state. The next thing will be the facility of government. INEC facility is facility of government. It's not my money that will be used to repair anything. Ede South, local government there. INEC is planning to renovate now. It's not my money. It's taxpayers' money. And that is one of the engagement we need to have with everybody, that it is a useless effort, futile effort to go and attack any of this facility. Now to your question, so we now need to engage those actors, particularly political parties. On Friday, by God's grace, We have invited them. I spoke to some of them yesterday. We are going to have a meeting with all the 18 chairmen of political parties in Osun State. And the CP is on the same page with us. We will invite the NOAH. NOAH will use their NOAH mouth to talk to them. That there's no need. My brother, let me tell you, anybody that wants to thrive on violence for this election is wasting his time. Oh. He's wasting his time. Oh. This election is unlike 2011, 2015, 2019. Oh. It's unlike 2019. I conducted 2019 election in Oyo State. I can see the difference in what is going to happen in February.
Mind taking us through that difference?
No, one of the things is that the INEC has largely removed human interference in the process. Gone are those days when you vote. I don't know where you were in 2007. Okay, you will be a big boy then. I can see you are a big man now. In 2007, my brother, I voted. And I was waiting for the result. The person that was declared winner in my polling unit, in my home state, okay, I go in Abeokuta. When the entire result got to the collation center, now another result we had. If anybody is waiting for such to happen again, he's a gunner. Let me use that language of the comrade. He's a gunner. In fact, he has gone to the bush. You know why? Because no, don't go. That's what I know. Because now the result is now at the polling unit. The result is where? At the polling unit. For example, after the voting process, presiding officer will announce the result. The result will be announced. The EC8A form sheet, result sheet, will now be carried like this with the beavers. Beavers will now take a snapshot of that result sheet. Are you with me? Some of you in the media, you are still in doubt as to the originality, authenticity of the beavers. Beavers is real. I'm coming there. Now, they take the picture of the beavers, picture of the EC8A, the result sheet, and transmit the image. It is not that INEC is inputting figure inside the beavers. I hope you are getting it now. It is the image already taken by beavers that will be transmitted. When you hear transmission of result, that is the result that is being transmitted into the election portal. Result portal. That portal is for public view. I know on election day, all of you here, you won't have access to go anywhere. You will be in the studio analyzing, speaking grammar. While you are speaking your grammar, you can open your phone, www.inecelectionresult.org, PM, Oshogbo, Ward 5. You will see the result dropping one after the other. My brother, why all those results are dropping? Somebody now is targeting the collation at the ward. Let him go to the ward. Nothing can happen there. So if you go and disrupt the collation at the ward, our regulation is here. Regulation says the commission, where that one has been disrupted, the commission should revert back to the result in the election portal and regenerate what is there. That is one difference. You're asking me the difference in 2019. Another difference that is very simple is about the use of incident form. Regardless of your status, if you come to an election day, your fingerprint, you remember former Mr. President in Bayelsa State. Smart candidate rejected his thumbprint, his thumb. And when it was rejected, the commission just said, okay, allow him. They just, they make up, such places in the past. They will ask you to use incident form. Write your name, your address, phone number, you vote. From the polling unit, if you have 100 people there, before you get to the collation center, 100 don't become 10,000. INEC has removed that totally. No incident form again. That's why I told you, notwithstanding your status, if you are rejected by beavers, you go back home. That's another development. Thirdly, is this results portal that we have introduced. It allows members of the public, anybody, you just log in into the website, into the portal, it will take you and you'll be there. You'll be monitoring everything like that. Now, we recruit our ad hoc staff now through online. Before now, a lot of them will throng our office and you will see them fighting, a lot of. Now, you apply online, we do the recruitment and we select you. These are the innovations INEC has brought in place. And I want to tell you, not even INEC official, not even me as resident electoral commissioner can help anybody for this election. Any politician, and I hope they are watching this program, any politician that is still carrying money to go and bribe anybody is wasting his time. Because human interference has been removed. The chairman will watch it. I will monitor it in Osun State in my office. But the issue of violence and the issue of insecurity is what we have to look to very, very well. So my appeal to members of the public now, before I come to the political parties, members of the public should be alive to their responsibility on election day. At your polling unit, those who are coming to disrupt the process, you know them. They are within your neighborhood. Stand by your vote. Don't allow them to vote, because for INEC, by regulation, if there is a violence or disruption, INEC will just award 0,000. We don't want to know who. So don't ask me. Your next question will now be: don't you think that the person that has the strong goal, somebody will go and decimate it?
No, that's not my next question.
Okay. I was just trying to read your mind. So in such a situation, INEC doesn't want to know who orchestrated the violence. Let us watch out. Let people, be the vanguard of protection of their domain on election day. Yakubu cannot come to Osun. Even why I'm in Oshogbo, I can't be everywhere. All of us must open our eyes. Your vote must count. My mandate in Osun State is to ensure that INEC and the staffers will do the right thing. And that right thing must be entrenched in the process.
All right, let's come to the issue of security. You said you're going to be engaging political actors. How well is INEC working in tandem with security agencies towards the election?
No, we're on the same page. We're on the same page. At quarterly, meetings, the commission, have what we call interagency consultative committee on election security meeting. All the security, representatives are there. I am the chairman. The CP co-chair with me, and in Osun State, we have met once. We are going to meet again. So we will continue to meet. We will review. I've visited all of them recently, and they have agreed that they are going to do the right thing. So the right thing is what is important. Each stakeholder in election should man its corner. Your corner is very important to yourself. INEC responsibility is to conduct, supervise the process. Do we deploy material early enough? That's our mandate. We should not delay the deployment of material. The security that are to protect men and material, do they arrive on time? That's their own corner. The NOA, whose responsibility is to talk and educate the masses, are they talking? That's their corner. So we are all on the same page, and we all do it together.
So let's come back to the issue. Before we talk about next month's election, because Osun is not doing governorship election, we'll just have presidential and...
it is not just presidential.
Okay, we have presidential
we have general election.
National
my brother, let me tell you, those elections, they are very more important than even your governorship you think of. I have seen people saying, don't say just. Presidential is very, very important. What again? Senatorial election, very key. House of Representative, the one that is very, and there's no English like kissed, and there's no English like that. The one that we allow you. No, I won't. Before they start penalizing me now. The one that is very, very important. And that's why I told you that we shouldn't say just election. No. House of Assembly election is most important. So people should also know that we have serious election in Osun State.
All right, so we have serious elections in Osun State.
Yes.
Still talking about the PVC now.
Yes.
Can you give us a demography of those who have collected? Do we have more old people? Do we have younger people who would like you to give us those figures? But before you give us those figures now, let me ask you, what are you doing to ensure that people in the hinterland, the market women, the old people in the Yoruba say the Gberuko, at the very grassroots, what are you doing? What strategies are in place to ensure that they get their PVCs? That's why we get back to the issue of demography.
Demography. Okay, now let me just tell you that demography is done by the headquarters. So they send it to us on monthly basis. So, but as at last month, I've not received that of this month. As at last month, what we have is that more male, collected their PVC than female. And in terms of age, the younger ones, they have the majority collection. So that is the summary about that. Now, about the people in the rural area, we are penetrating them. You know what? INEC has a subsisting, what is it called? Memorandum of Understanding with National Youth Service Corps. Don't forget that it is NYSC or the core members that we are using as presiding officers. APO1, APO2, things like that. Most of them are, doing their service here currently. And as they are doing their service here, they are in our various local government. They are the one helping us to penetrate the hinterland. They go through the market days, they go there. They go into the village meetings, they attend with them. They also attend palaces and with ballets. So in those areas, they are doing it. And we are getting report in fact, as I opened the phone the other time, I saw a report entered. So they are doing it every day. Everybody must know what INEC is doing.
All right. So now let's go to the serious elections that we have next month. The presidential election, the national and state houses of assembly.
Yes.
How prepared are you, especially in Osun State?
Wow. We are as prepared as the preparation of a groom and a bride.
Some marriages, some brides run away on wedding day.
That should be a stupid bride. That should be a stupid bride. Because, for a bride, when you are waiting for your wedding, it's a thing of joy. And that night is a special one for you. Don't let me go into another topic. So let's face this one. We are prepared, my brother. INEC first point of preparation is continuous engagement, re-engagement of the major stakeholders. Let me tell you, people are still doubtful of the sincerity of the process of our election. When we started using beavers, we had few issues here and there. Up to now, people still believe that beavers is a scam.
We'll talk about some issues on beavers, but I'd like you to finish this point.
So, we need to convince them. We need to talk to them. We need to engage with them. We need to bring the simplification of the process to the doorstep of the electorate. Yes, election is like marriage that we talked about. With all the preparation you have done, you have invited ABC, you have done this, you get the venue. The way it will look like, you will know until you start the party. I've seen some weddings where it was a rainstorm that scattered the whole place.
So what are the possible rainstorm for our next wedding now?
Very good. The possible rainstorm is for us to give confidence, like I said, to the stakeholders, to come out and show the capacity of our facility to deliver the goods, the capacity of our technology, the capacity of our personnel. Some of our ad hoc staff, permanent staff, to ensure that they do the right thing on election day. To also talk to the political parties, to talk to their members, not to trail or look for our staff with money, just like the way they are running after them to buy PVC now. They are looking for them to buy PVC.
What are the parameters around purchase of PVCs? How does it work? If someone buys a PVC,
it's a waste.
What's the point?
You didn't hear what I said the other time. They are wasting their time. It's a sheer waste of time. It is exhibition of ignorance par excellence. Exhibition of lack of understanding of the current reality of workings of INEC. Let me tell you, if you carry a third-party PVC in Osun State in this coming election, you will be arrested. You will not just be arrested, though. I will invite you, Western Spring Television, come, call all the media organizations. We are going to parade such people. We will now hand over them to security. We will now prosecute them. That's what we are going to do. Whether our staff will be involved, whether it's core members, anybody that is found to commit electoral infraction, we will not just sweep it under carpet. It's a serious matter. And that is why those people must face the reality. If you buy card from anybody, third party PVC, it's of no value to you. Two things. Okay, you carry it, you come to the presiding officer. Immediately you get there, you are already identified as a fraudster. Because the details in the card will not be in tandem with the person standing before the beavers. So you are a fraud. You are a fraud. So we will continue to do that. Secondly, is to also educate all of us. You know, election is a multi-stakeholders engagement, exercise, activity. Media organization, we will engage them, we have been engaging them to always report correctly and genuinely. Thank God we have our result portal. Nobody can just go online and be dishing out fake results. You know. So, all these various sectors of the people that will participate in the process, we must bring us together so that people will know INEC is ready. So, for us in Osun, we are ready. Our materials are very few. If you ask me in terms of percentage, I will tell you that 85% we are ready in Osun State.
Okay. Temi Tokwe has some questions for you.
Are you saying that the beavers is fail-proof in every way?
My sister, as you are looking at me, you are not foolproof. Oh. If you spend more hours than necessary here, if you spend, assuming they just say you will continue to work, you sit down this same point throughout the day. I saw one specialist hospital when you were coming now. You will land there, God forbid you. As I am seated here, I am not foolproof. I ought to have been here earlier than 7:30. If not for your boss, maybe I will be here by 8 or 9. Headache didn't allow me to rest overnight because I was everywhere monitoring yesterday. Nobody, nothing, no system is foolproof anywhere. But what is important is this. As much as you build a security around yourself, what is security? They told you have malaria parasite. They did test for you. They gave you drug. Use it in the morning with paracetamol. In the afternoon with paracetamol. In the evening with paracetamol for 3 days. Are you with me? But some of us, once you use first, second, third one, I think I say you are okay. I'm very good now. You abandon the drug. What happens? If it is a typhoid, everything will now relapse. And it will be times 10 of what has happened to you. To the extent that INEC evolve, you know, the design of beavers for the purpose of election, we have built security around our facility. It is the human interference that we need to now check. It is a human being. I hope you are following me. It is a human being that will carry that machine that we must watch. And that is why, if any human being in this coming election in Osun State should behave in a way that will distract the intention of the commission, that such human being will go to jail.
All right. So now, because there's a matter in court that we don't want to delve.
No, I'm not even interested in going there.
We want you to enlighten the public now about how beavers works. You know, transmission of results.
God bless you.
What is the synchronization process?
No, I won't go there. I won't go there. That's the language of the court.
No, okay.
I won't go there.
Just give us how you do it, how you use beavers.
I explained the other time. This is a beavers matching, for example. On election day, you present your PVC. That PVC, the content in your PVC is already contained in the beavers. So the PVC is used to authenticate whether it is you or not. It brings out your details. Now, when everything is seen there, yes, it is you. The next stage is for you to be authenticated using your biometrics and your facials. Once you put this, or they put it on your face, either of them, not the two together, either of them, and they said you are okay, then the next thing is for you to cast your vote. You cast your vote, you stay around, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the voting process, and voting process starts 8:30 and it's supposed to end by 2:30. Why the last person on the queue must have voted? Because when we say 2:30, people will say, you say 2:30. Some people are still queuing. No. You can still have more people.
Up to 8 p.m. if you have that crowd. You
can still have more people on the line till the last person votes. The 8 p.m., 9 p.m. thing is an abnormal situation. And that's why the commission now has developed a situation of migrating more people from a congested polling unit to sparsely, congested polling unit. You know what I mean? So that the crowd will be minimal and you can have one beavers per polling unit. I hope that is clear. Now, after that has been done, presiding officer will declare the result at the polling unit. That, hey, Mr. A is the winner. They will clap for you. They will show the EC8A result will be signed by the agent of the political party in that polling unit. Having signed it, they will announce, everybody has seen it. It is expected, because they are from EC60E, a poster like this. The result in that small result sheet will be entered into that poster and it will be pasted on the wall. What is the purpose? For everybody to see it on the wall. That's why in Oyo State, I told them they do the election. If any of our staff refuses to paste it, don't allow him or her to go. Call me. I drop my phone number to everybody, like I'm going to drop before I go. If anybody has any issue, my own rec is not a Mr. T coffee rec. Immediate problem should be addressed immediately, so that we don't escalate and eat the polity unnecessarily. Now, at the polling unit, the presiding officer will now carry the paper like this. This is the result sheet. The first thing I explained was accreditation. Now transmission of the result. Like I told you, it will carry the beavers on top of the result like this. Take the snapshot, the image of that result.
So it's not as if figures are entered into the beavers.
God bless you. Figure cannot enter beavers. There's no room for figure to enter. It is the image. And that image will be there till eternity. If you want to see Ekiti election result, go to INEC portal, you will find it. If you want to see, what is it called? Osun election result, you find it there. So, image will be taken. Then, at the point of accreditation, another point of clarification, BVAS does not require network. Our members of the public are thinking, there's no network in some places. No. For accreditation, no network. But for transmission of result, it requires network. And INEC has partnered with all the network providers in Nigeria. But perchance, in some places, the network refused to work there. Our staff have been trained by the network provider to move a bit away from their current location to search for for network, and they will do the transmission. Let me now tell you, there is no way. When we are doing collation, I was in Ekiti as supervising rec for Bonyi and Ekiti East local government. They couldn't conclude the manual collation in the state office. Please listen to me. They could not complete or conclude the manual collation in the state office because we were not yet through with the transmission of our result from the two local governments. So until we concluded, we still need to bring it down. It was after we were able to conclude that they were able to finish the manual collation. So no manual collation can be done unless electronic collation must have been concluded. That is the process.
All right. So from what you've just explained now, there are a lot of innovations that INEC has put in place to reduce human interference and human errors. And that means that the system is expected to be very optimal to a very certain extent. That
is our expectation. More so, the beavers we are going to use in this election, the speed is so fast. Oh, Lord me. When we are doing the test running and we are running the machine, we saw the speed. So this election is going to be a difference in our ramifications.
All right. So all the parameters, all the machines of the INEC are already in place. But now let's talk about the issue of vote buying at wards and polling units. What are the steps that INEC has taken to or is taken to stop that?
The responsibility of preventing a crime is on the security agencies. And that is why I'm looking forward to when the CP will be brought to your studio and ask him specifically what is the deployment strategy to attack the vote buying. But on our part, we have solicited for their support, the police, ICPC. I visited the ICPC man 2 weeks ago, and he gave his word that they are ready for this one. That what they saw during the governorship election was an eye-opener for them to do more. EFCC has been trying. There are 4 prosecutions going on in Osun State, being carried out by the EFCC. So we have that collaboration to reduce or prevent the vote buying. Money should not be the determinant to select our people. When you allow money to pervade our democratic space, that is not democracy.
All right, before we let you go this morning, Dr. Agboke, we'd just like you to, for the purpose of reassurance, how do you boost confidence in voters in the commission? Your national chairman has been speaking about pressure from all sides to compromise, and he has reiterated, we must say, that the commission will not budge. But here in Osun State, how do people have implicit confidence?
No, it shouldn't even be implicit. It should be explicit to tell them that we are here in Osun State. I have no mandate than the mandate of the public. I have no mandate than the mandate of the oaths that I swore to the day I was appointed. I am not here to play anybody's card, to play anybody's game. I don't even know anybody. Those who are trying to look for me, run away from me, find out for me, look, I am the cheapest one to see now. Come to my office. Come to my office. But if you are expecting me to meet you somewhere, have a meeting.
Have you been pressured? Have you been having invitations?
No, there will always be invitation. There will always be pressure.
Okay.
But it is for you to know the right thing.
All right.
So in 2019 there were pressures, there was invitation, but we did the right thing. Heaven did not fall. No, heaven did not fall, and heaven will not fall in Osun State. People of Osun will speak loudly after that election that this is the person we want at various levels of the election. If there are issues specifically about PVC or anything, you can send WhatsApp message to my line, or you send SMS. If you call, I won't pick because I won't become a business center. Just send WhatsApp specific problems at a particular time. On WhatsApp, I talk to people, for any issue. My number is 080-374-35880. 080-374-35880. So, Osun people, we are good to go. we are going to do the right thing. And anybody that we announce as the winner will be reflection of the voting of the Osun people.
All right, so we'd like to leave it at that on the show this morning. You've heard the Resident Electoral Commissioner of the INEC in Osun State, Dr. Michiu Agboke, who joined us live on the show this morning to talk about INEC's preparedness for next month's election in terms of PVC collections and some other issues. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right.
And I want to thank the management, particularly your chairman. This is a very good edifice, and I pray that it will be a long way in contributing to the community.
All right. Thank you very much. We hope to have you some other time before the elections.
Anytime.
So
if I'm meeting, I will run down here.
All right. Thank you very much. Please do well to finish your food so that you don't check. So that's where we leave it on the show this morning. I will be coming back after this break to bring you who is trending, what is trending, and why they are trending. Do stay with us and ensure that you collect your PVCs and participate in next month's elections so you don't spend the next 4 years complaining and wishing that you had voted. I will be coming back, but Temitope has somewhere to go. Where will you be going?
I'll be going somewhere very sweet.
To your husband, what did you say?
You don't have to know that.
Well, life is tough for the singles, but we'll soon join the club anyway. So I'll see you after this break. To stay with us.
Badamasi Adegoke Adelabu was a prominent figure in Ibadan politics and Western region before Nigeria's independence. He was a key founder of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, a political party that held lofty the torch of liberty for the two West African countries. He carved a niche for himself as a wordsmith and a creative speaker. The nickname Kwenkele was a natively corrupted version of peculiar mess, his bombastic English language style often used to score proceedings at the parliament. The author of Africa in Ebullition, a handbook of freedom for Nigerian nationalists, was Nigeria's Federal Minister of Natural Resources and Social Services between 1955 and 1956. He died in an auto crash on the 25th March 1958 at the age of 42. Western Spring Television identifies Adegoke Adelabu as a watershed character in history. This iconic African presents the narrative of a man destined to exert an imperishable global influence in Western education. His was a story of a freeborn, captured and sold into slavery. He was born in Oshogun, a native Yoruba village near Iseyin in Okeogun axis of southwest Nigeria. Samuel Ajayi Crowther was the foundation student of Fora Bay College, Sierra Leone, the foremost university where the pioneer set of native Africans were educated. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's greatest contribution to humanity was his translation of the Holy Bible into the Yoruba language. The man who authored the Yoruba dictionary was also credited with the translation of English classic hymns into Yoruba and the Ekwere languages. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's private residence in Badagry, incidentally the first story building in Nigeria, is an archival museum dedicated to the memory of Africa's first bishop. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ajayi Crowther as a watershed character in history.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100...
Good morning, and welcome to Spring Trends on Western Spring Television. We've been reaching you from Star Times, channel 190, DTT platform, and of course on all our social media handles, Facebook and Instagram at Western Spring Television, on Twitter at WSTV_NG. My name is Emmanuel Ujadigile. You can follow me on Twitter at EM Ujadigile. Now, before we start the show for you this morning, I'd like to tell you that something interesting has been happening in the spirit world. It looks like the gods are at war. I don't know why it's happening. I don't know what is wrong. Maybe we need to send some persons, maybe one of my producers, to the spirit world to go and ask the gods what's happening. But let me show you what is happening with the gods. Well, you can see what's happening there. I really don't know what's going on. I really don't know what is happening. But a lot of things are going wrong in the spirit world. You can see 2 different locations, and it's the same story. The masquerades are fighting. While we're growing up, we're told that masquerades are the embodiment of the spirit world, that our spiritual fathers, our forefathers, are the ones behind the masks. So unfortunately now, we're seeing that these people are fighting. So we have one of our producers, Piodun Anibaba, would be sending him to the spirit world anytime soon to go ask the masquerades what's happening. Would have to sacrifice him to go ask the gods what's happening. But back to serious business now. Yesterday, or from Sunday, the founder of one of the major media houses in Nigeria, that's Raymond Dokpesi, who is the chairman and founder of the Dark Communications Group, AIT and RAPA, if you know that, was arrested in the United Kingdom on rape allegations. And his case was adjourned until April. So what happened was that he had gone to see Atiku, the presidential candidate of the PDP in the United Kingdom. While he was on the plane, there was an announcement that the police wanted to do something, and then all the passengers were told to sit down, and the police came in and took him away. And after that, some other interesting conversations on social media about that particular incident. I'd like to show you what Nigerians particularly have to say about Raymond Dokpesi's arrest on social media. Samuel Jonah, who start there, says they should pair him with his brother Ekweremadu in prison. All the Nigerian politicians, the Oyibo corrupted, shall surely find their way back to their roots. Get Your PVC says he's not leaving the UK in the foreseeable future. His passport will be confiscated, and in the coming weeks it will be him and legal professionals trying to save him from anything he thought he had escaped since 2019. The next comment is from Distinguished Everest. It says, Raymond Dokpesi will hear the result of the general election from the UK prison. His case has been adjourned till April. May justice prevail. Next comment is from Chris. Top Boy Chris says, Atiku's ally, Chief Raymond Dokpesi, has been arrested in the United Kingdom. If the arrest happened in Nigeria, PDP would have released a press statement condemning the arrest and shouting that the government in power wants to clamp down on opposition. And the talker says, I'd love to see more Nigerian politicians get arrested abroad for crimes they get away with in Nigeria. If this rape allegation against Raymond Dokpesi is proven true, I want him to rot in jail. That's from the talker. And the next comment is yesterday, that's some months ago, Ikwe Kuremadu was arrested by UK government. Today, Raymond Dokpesi is now arrested in the same UK. Does that not send a signal to the people of Nigeria that Nigeria is Britain company? Anything against their interests is a threat to them. They take it or leave it. That's from Love for All. Obinna Prince Odogu says Atiku went to UK and then High Chief Raymond Dokpesi traveled to join him there and was arrested by the UK government as corrupt Atiku. I'm hearing this for the first time. You know, a lot of names and appellations are given to presidential candidates, politicians in Nigeria. And this person is saying Atiku. I don't know. It sounds quite exotic. You know, Atiku. But, well, Atiku is the name. Atiku used Dokpesi as an SPV, special purpose vehicle. Yes, and there you have it. That's all the comment on that particular story. Dokpesi was actually eventually released by the UK police after some interrogations. But of course, we'll wait to see how the development unfolds in the United Kingdom. Away from Raymond Dokpesi, we'll come to Lagos, Nigeria. Yesterday, something happened in Lagos. Some agitators for the Yoruba nation clashed with the police in Lagos, and that led to the death of one person. Some media houses say it's 2 persons, and that led to the death of persons there. That's what matters, that people died in the first place. And, you know, what happened was that in the early hours of yesterday, some, according to the police spokesperson of the Lagos State Police Command, some miscreants masquerading as Yoruba Nation agitators came out in their hundreds, disrupting social and commercial activities at Ojota area of the state. You can see pictures of that on your screen. I'd like to show you some of those pictures now. That's the tweet by SP Benjamin Hundeyin. Now you can see a vehicle being burnt there. You can see another, I suppose, a private vehicle vandalized by some persons during that clash. And of course, bullet holes on a police vehicle. You can see that police vehicle there very shortly. It has bullet holes to show you the intensity of the fight, the clash in Lagos yesterday. Now, away from that, let's see, that's a vehicle there. Some gunshot marks on that vehicle there yesterday after the clash. But now let's see what people are saying, or what people said about that incident yesterday in Lagos State. Agbeja Ifedakpo is the first person, says, this is really sad. Weed them all out. So it's talking about the perpetrators of yesterday's attack. And Son of Ayo says, you can't take away the people's right to protest. It is not unconstitutional to protest. You all should learn to do your job professionally. Not be everything you could use force. The next comment is from Dr. Ondiosis. He says, add this to your post. This was the person who died yesterday. Add this to your post. Let it not be one-sided. Must police use lethal force to stop protest? Well, that's a question that's been on the minds of many people. Must the police always clash with protesters? Alan the Great says, at Benjamin Hundeyin, can you share the Nigeria police rules of engagement when it comes to protest? A lot of Nigerians need to be aware. I need to be aware. We need to know why the police usually deploys force to disperse protesters, even if they are not peaceful. I mean, there are other non-lethal ways of dispersing protesters. The next comment on that story is from Ifect. It says, we heard it was a peaceful protest at the beginning, just like every other protest where the Nigeria police force have gone to maim, kill, and intimidate. We await the outcome of the investigation, but until then, I believe the report of the other eyewitnesses. And the vengeful one says, kudos to the police for restoring order. Do hope the injured officers make a full recovery. And the next comment is from The Mind. The Mind says, are you going to also include pictures and videos of those killed by the police in your reportage? Be fair and balanced for once, Benjamin. Now follow, make people know they trust police. And that's that on that story from Lagos. From Lagos, we move to Yola, the Adamawa state capital. Talking politics now. President Muhammadu Buhari was in Yola yesterday to attend the presidential campaign and other campaigns of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and something interesting happened there. President Muhammadu Buhari made a very interesting comment. Now let's take a listen to that video.
Please go to our constituencies, make sure that you choose people who are very responsible, people who will keep you informed and act according and within the resources available in your locality. As I said, education, healthcare are our priorities. Please make sure that you have security in your area. Anybody who understands him, don't allow fraudulent people to come and dominate your locality.
Well, a lot of persons saw that last part. Don't allow fraudulent people come and dominate your localities as a jab to presidential candidate of the APC, that's Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I wonder why that is. He did not mention names. He just said vote for the right persons, vote for competence. And some have even said that it is a subtle endorsement of the Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi. But we'll wait to see if that's what President Buhari meant. I mean, he has been very clear about his own trajectory in terms of endorsement. He is fully endorsing his party's candidate. But let's see what people are saying on social media. Salim Paris says, President Muhammadu Buhari spoke his mind in Adamawa State, Yola. If you people like, go and vote fraudulent Bulaba. In Buhari's word, go to your constituency and make sure you choose people who are very responsible. Of course, we want people who are responsible to be in political office. That way, Nigerians will be better for it. Next comment is from Victor Israel. Says, Buhari don't use style endorse Peter Obi. Go to your constituencies and vote the right people. Don't vote fraudulent people. This thing go paint Tinubu. Well, this is all politicking and politics. Okeke Obinna says, the only thing Buhari can do right after 8 years of disaster is to allow a free and fair election. At least let's see something to thank him for. If the elections are free and fair, which it should, then there is already a clear winner. People, that's Peter Obi. And the next comment is from Ibo says, Tinubu was looking shocked as he knows he doesn't meet any of the requirements listed by President Buhari. Baba concluded, I'm with him. I'm going for another political meeting. Limao. Edonio is the next and last comment. This man is wise after all. After them spoil the man administration, they won't come from angels without knowing that Bubu could tell Nigerians who they are and what to do and who to vote for by voicing the manifesto of Peter Obi without even saying vote for APC. Well, that's the last comment on the show this morning. We've been bringing you who's trending, what is trending, why they are trending, from Raymond Dokwe's arrest in the United Kingdom to the clash in Lagos, and of course, Yola yesterday, the campaign of the All Progressives Congress. And don't forget, we told you that the gods are at war, and Biodun Anibaba will be going to the spiritual world to ask them for us what is happening with them or over there. My name is Emmanuel Ujadigele. Don't forget to follow me on social media, on Twitter, particularly at EM-Ujadigele. You can also follow us on all our social media handles and ensure that you like, comment, subscribe, watch all our content, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Till I come your way tomorrow, happy Tuesday. Do stay on the safe side of the law.